Hello and welcome to the WDW News Today podcast, episode 15.
Look at my white leg.
We've gotten away with this for 15 episodes. My name is Eric
With my
Morton.
white
This
legs and my
child
short shorts.
with pale legs next to me is Tom Corless.
Hello.
And we'd like to welcome you. Thank you for joining us. We hope you had a very Merry Christmas. And now we're going to kick off the new year with this episode.
With my legs.
And Tom's
With my pale legs.
I promise he
and
hasn't
my
been
short
drinking
shorts.
yet.
No, I haven't.
Yeah.
I'm just in a mood today.
How was your Christmas? Went to
Oh,
New
sorry,
York,
get
saw
distracted.
your family.
I did. We did fun Christmassy things.
You stayed in a hotel, you said.
We did because my mother can't go up the steps yet at the house.
Oh.
Yeah, so the way that the house is in the Bronx is there's no living quarters on the bottom floor.
Mm-hmm.
They're up 2 flights of steps. I mean, she certainly could have went to the living room, but they thought for Christmas it'd be easier to just get someplace that had an elevator.
Did you do that?
there.
Did you call down and be like, "Howdy do? This is Peter McAllister, the father. No, I want an extra large room with an extra large bed."
Believe it or not, Eric, at this business we occasionally make money, so I can just go buy my own things. I'd have to use my parents' cards. Tommy wants $4,000.
Cheese pizza in a limo.
God. No, we did the holiday lights at the Bronx Zoo. I went to the Back to the Future musical. Finally got to see that. And then all my usual New York musts. We got pizza and went to Stu Leonard's, which is the greatest supermarket on earth, and no one can convince me otherwise.
Stu Leonard's.
I also caught this cold. Doing great.
I do have some troubling news, Tom.
Oh, no.
Based on previous episodes, I think that our audience cares about this.
Oh.
Today, this is from Twitter. X. So from @RobertFreund Today, Hershey's was sued in a false advertising class action. Florida consumers say that they were deceived because Reese's pumpkins don't actually have jack-o'-lantern faces carved into them. So you can see, I don't know if we can edit this
Billy
in.
will put it up.
But yeah, they on the outside of the wrapper, the pumpkins that you love so much have like a jack-o'-lantern face. You know, jack-o'-lantern's the only animal I'm aware of that has triangular eyes. Carved.
Animal?
Yeah.
It's an animal.
Of course. And then and so it's carved in there, but if you actually open it, it's not. There's no carved in face.
Pumpkins.
So people in Florida are very upset about this.
Reese's pumpkins, not Reese's jack-o'-lanterns.
But they have a picture of the jack-o'-lantern on there.
I forgot. So I saw, actually, one of our WIGS members sent me a picture like, have you had these or what do you think of these? And they're the footballs because Super Bowl season. So there's the footballs. And on the package, it shows like laces cut into the Reese's. But it's basically just kind of like
Are
the
they
egg.
fake?
It's not on there. They're just oval shaped. They're football shaped. They're still delicious, but now they might have to pull those because some Florida man was offended that his Reese's pumpkins didn't have a face he could bite into.
I feel like it's an opportunity for Jets fans to unite behind something and be like, we got to take them down. The Jets fans got to win at something. Let's beat Reese's at this game.
We need something Super Bowl related.
Oh boy,
God.
There's a lot of people who can say that. But actually, this year, like the Lions are good. The Browns have made the playoffs.
You know what team is good this year?
The Dolphins.
The Miami Dolphins are very good. Knock on wood.
Except against all the best teams in the AFC head-to-head.
But luckily we didn't have to play them very much. Oh, man.
The prolific Miami Dolphins.
My favorite was we were at a restaurant we've gone to much of my life on Central Avenue in up near Yonkers called Pizza and Brew. And we were there for dinner, and we were watching they had the Dolphins-Cowboys game on.
Okay.
And I used to watch every game of the season religiously for many years. Part of once you have WWNT's taken up a lot of my time, right? So there were years I used to watch all 162 games of the Yankees season because I was insane. Mm-hmm. That time did not exist once I started the website. Football became something similar, but the other side of football was my team was so depressing that eventually I kind of I can't look. I can't look anymore. And this season's been like I'm afraid to look because I'm afraid once I look again that they'll
Right.
turn back into
I
the
get it.
team I remember.
Or you'll
so
wake
this
up,
is like one of the few games I've watched live. We watched it live and so we're in New York, which is it's not Cowboys country. It's not Dolphins country either. But we kicks the field goal and we win the game. And my father and I are like, yeah. And actually a number of people in the bar are screaming, yeah. And I had to think for a second. I was like, there's no way there's Dolphins fans. And I thought about it for a minute. I was like, well, it's the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Who hates the Cowboys?
The Giants.
Yeah. So they were all Giants fans. They're just like, we don't care who wins as long as it's not the Cowboys.
It's funny. So I'm old enough to remember when the Dolphins were in the Super Bowl. I wasn't old enough to remember when they had the perfect season. I'm not that old.
72.
Yeah, I was not alive.
I was alive for Dolphins playoffs.
I was alive. Was it 84 when they went to the Super Bowl?
When Dan Marino Super Bowl.
So I go to this Super Bowl party at my friend's house. They're playing the Redskins, right?
Yeah.
So John Riggins is the running back for the Redskins. His son played on my little league team. I was on the team with his son.
You have 6 degrees of separation from every celebrity.
So John Riggins used to come to our games. He'd back his pickup truck up to past the dugout, on whatever side we were on, and he'd sit in a lawn chair in the back of his pickup truck with a case of beer, pound of beer. But anyway, his son was on my team, so my friends and I were all rooting for the Redskins. Yeah. And one kid shows up to this party, and he's rooting for the Dolphins. So we dogpiled him every commercial. I guess that's what you do when you're that young. We just dogpile him and beat on him a little bit, and of course, then the poor Dolphins ended up losing, and now I feel a little bit bad about that, but not too bad.
And Dan Marino never got to go to another Super Bowl.
No, he didn't. Well, he should have changed his hairstyle.
Jimmy Johnson shouldn't have been. We won't get into this.
You never know. Boy, we're way out there. I was already why Yonkers?
Can I bring it back to Reese's?
I want to know how you get to Yonkers, because all I know is from Hello Dolly, you take a train.
There's a world outside of Yonkers, Eric.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're aware of it.
It's a hick town.
We drove.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the hotel we stayed in was close to the Stu Leonard's and not far from Yonkers. Yeah.
Okay.
By the Ridge Hill shopping center. I don't know what Ridge Hill is called.
We have thousands of viewers who are from that area who are like, oh yeah, it's right across the street from this place. And I'm like, I don't know. I figure Yonkers is on the west side and the Bronx is on the east side, right? And that kind of.
We saw 2 movies, 2 very different movies. The Iron Claw.
Oh, the Von Erichs.
Yes.
I remember them.
My parents loved it. I was okay with it. I think some of the emotional impact of the film was lost on me because I know the story very well.
They all died.
Yeah. Well, you spoiled. Don't go see the movie. Eric spoiled the movie for everyone. No. I think if you do not know their story, it'll be they're a wrestling family, essentially the Kennedys of wrestling, right? Anything that could go wrong with that family did. Everyone, the actors were great, but it was. You
ever see the Von Erich family do the Pizza Inn commercial?
No.
There was some place called Pizza Inn. I don't know where it was. I just remember the commercials when I was a kid. They would do, for Pizza Out, it's Pizza Inn, and they're like, yeah. It's all the Von Erichs.
I got to see this.
Yeah, you got to find it. We'll find it.
The other thing we saw was Migration. My mother really wanted to see Migration. It was a turd. It was awful.
It looks awful.
It was like a paint by numbers, every animated movie from a non-Disney studio you've ever seen. It was horrendous. I wanted to see Wish, but it was not playing in any theater nearby. They've taken it out of every theater in that area.
I just don't go to movie theaters that much. It's not because I'm scared, from COVID and all that. It's just I used to go to movies all the time, and now we just do other stuff.
Yeah. I still like to go to the movies. I don't go as much as I used to.
Yeah.
But I did go see Poor Things a couple weeks ago. That was fantastic.
I saw Oppenheimer
Also
in the
great.
theater.
I did Barbenheimer. I did the back-to-back.
2 feel-good stories in a row. I started Barbie. It's on maybe Max.
You turned off Barbie?
Yeah, I just wasn't.
Oh, my God.
I think I will eventually finish it. I was just one of those, I watched it for 15 minutes. I was 20 minutes. I was like, all right, I'm going to, you know what? There's a game starting in a little while I'm going to watch or something.
Oh, I loved Barbie. Barbie was fantastic.
That's great. I know a lot of people do. I'm told I'm supposed to love it or there's something wrong with me. Society told me that. All right.
Maybe.
All right,
I don't know. There's definitely something wrong with both of us based on what we've just wasted 20 minutes talking about. Can I bring it back to Reese's, though?
Oh, boy.
I sent you a picture. No, during my trip of a Reese's product.
Oh yeah.
There was a new
With
big
potato
cup,
chips
one
in
we
it.
did not get. Yeah, there's a big cup with potato chips in it. So it's the big cup, the big one, but inside are crushed up pieces of salty potato chips.
That could be good, maybe.
It was the worst Reese's I've ever had.
Really?
It's no good. I think they could have accomplished a better intended effect by just salting. Or, you know how you get Gideon's?
salty, sweet,
like part of what
yeah.
makes Gideon's great is the
sea salt,
salty
yeah.
sweetness, right? I think a salty sweet Reese's could work. I think what killed it was the chip pieces. Like they don't keep well in the peanut butter.
Right.
So they all were kind of a little stale. They're a little weird.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
That's too bad. I mean, it's a good idea. It's just, when I heard it, I was like,
Yeah.
maybe that's not bad because I remember as a kid eating maybe potato chips inside a sandwich or a peanut butter and jelly sandwich or something, and it wasn't
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
bad.
chocolate and potato chips, not bad together, but the chips have to be not stale.
Yeah,
Yeah.
got to make a good brand. Get a good brand too. You can't just be using like some junky brand.
Yeah, I don't know what brand they use. They didn't advertise on the.
I'm not a big fan of like
Reese's
plain
package.
potato chips. So
I don't eat a lot of potato chips.
no, I like chips. I just don't like plain potato chips. A lot of people like them, including Lee. So we have them in my house from time to time. But
Yeah.
no, not a big. I need stuff with a lot of flavor or like a sturdy tortilla chip, not scoops like we've talked about.
I need
before.
something that's spicy. I need like jalapeno.
The
chips.
hint of lime Tostitos. Those are really good with salsa or something.
Well, we know how you feel about scoops.
The worst. Should be banned from the market.
I like those Doritos. The was it the Thai chili? Is that what?
Yeah,
they are?
there's a hot chili Dorito that's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we talk about Disney stuff at some
Should we?
point?
Do you want to? First of all, I want to just talk about our shirts real quick.
Not my legs.
To distract people from Tom's legs, I recommend a shirt from Park Candy.
I think it's drawing. They're it's accentuating.
They're the same color. No,
I
these
got
are really
the Muttley laugh going.
these are really great shirts. They're 4-way stretch. They're size inclusive, so they have like from extra small up to like
What is
4X
a
and adding
four-way
more.
stretch?
It's just-
Is
it's
that
just-
like a super stretch?
That's totally different.
Oh.
You can stretch in all directions, north, south, east.
Are
and
there
west.
only 4 ways? So if I find one of not 4 ways, will the shirt rip?
Maybe diagonally it won't. I don't know. I like them. They
don't know what
stretch.
that means.
They're stretchy.
I mean, they're I think they're super comfortable.
Super comfortable.
Yeah.
And if you're watching this show, you probably, if you're still here, you must really care about theme parks. So they are really based on theme parks and some of the iconography that we associate with them. And I think that's great. This is a small business. I like supporting small business.
We are a small
Yeah,
business.
getting smaller. I gotta leave. So anyway, you can support them by going to www.nt.link/parkcandy. And when you go to checkout, just put WDWNT as a discount code. You get 15% off as a thank you for supporting us and for supporting this small business. So thank you very much. And I think
like yours.
I do too.
Inspired
really
by
good.
Jungle Cruise.
Yeah, they have like these
I don't
little
have this one.
placards or whatever, like on the
Oh,
bottom. that
the
have
thing.
Yeah,
It looks like we're like exposing ourselves when we do this.
World
but-
famous for being world famous. It says B-Rex. So each one has a unique one of those on it, which I kind of like. That's
Mine
pretty
is
cool.
Take Me to the Tiki Room, which is accurate.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Look, we have a big show. We're going to recap from 2023 all the top guest incidents in Disney parks.
And we're going to be here till 2030.
These are based on basically I based these are in chronological order, but what made something make the list was basically going through our website and seeing which ones were the most popular.
Yeah.
I did not include guest incidents that included anything like a tragic death or some of those types of things. But we have
You have what? We'll skip
there's
that
one
then.
that there's one that
We should
is
skip
difficult.
that one.
But we're going to start in January 7th. And sometimes, by the way, some of these incidents may have occurred earlier, but this is when we reported it, when we got the
posted,
police
yeah.
reports, which sometimes take a few months or whatever. Okay. Social media video shows a woman flashing her breasts aboard the Disney Skyliner. So I remember when this happened. And I think she posted it on TikTok or Instagram, and someone else kind of captured it and had it up there. It was just a woman standing there, and as they passed by people on the Skyliner, she'd give them a little view of something to break up the monotony of their vacation. Make Disney
And they
transportation.
couldn't see because their gondolas were all wrapped. So you can't. No one even noticed.
I don't know if you request one that's not wrapped to get a better view next time or what. But anyway, that is a thing that happened. I don't know if we need to dwell too much on it, but it did happen. It kicked off
We're
the
now
year.
passing a woman's breasts. Walt Disney World is 5,000 times the size of her breasts. Did you know? And now the
Alternate
headwaters
forms-
of the Everglades.
Alternate forms of transportation at Walt Disney World include motorboats. All right. January 8th. Oh, boy. You want to talk about this one?
I wrote this.
You wrote this
title.
headline.
I love this story. It's one of my favorite stories of the year. Man gets drunk at T-Rex Cafe, then unleashes dinosaur-like rampage at Disney Springs, fighting a manager, knocking over a child, and attempting to bite the sheriff's deputy.
A man's evening out at Disney Springs led to his wild arrest. By the time the night was over, the man had fought a restaurant manager, was responsible for knocking over a child, and tried to bite the sheriff's deputy who was going to arrest him, the Orange County Sheriff's Arrest Report said. All of it was public spectacle as the scene happened in front of Disney guests enjoying their evening at the popular shopping and restaurant complex. On November 26th, this incident occurred with Arnett Gregory Jr., 50, of Kent, Ohio. He was cut off from the bar at T-Rex. That's a bad sign, by the way, when you get cut off by the bar at T-Rex.
But
Because
you know
it was
what they
intoxicated.
say? Life finds a way.
Yeah. Well, he was cut off because he fell asleep at the bar. He was then asked to leave, and he did not take it well. He lunged towards the manager, began acting aggressive, etc., etc., etc. He eventually went into the kitchen of the T-Rex Cafe,
That's right.
looking for.
There were so many other weird parts of the story that just didn't fit. We couldn't fit them in the title. He went into the kitchen.
He found a manager. The manager told authorities he was aggressive and threatening him, wanting to fight right there in the kitchen. I mean, there's a lot of health hazards there. It's a slip and fall
dry
risk.
ice from
You have
that dessert.
Dry ice. You have hot, fire and things cooking food.
Maybe microwaves. I don't know. It may have been hot.
At any rate, the cops showed up. The deputy asked him to go with them to the front office to keep him away from the public. And Gregory F-bombed the deputy and refused to go. So it goes on and on, but that's how we started the year, with getting drunk at T-Rex Cafe, which isn't the worst plan in the world. It just didn't go right for
I
us.
bit the law and the law won. Wanted tomato soup with my son.
How are we going to get through all these?
I swear I haven't had anything to drink nor any medication. I've had nothing.
Wow. Well, January 11th, we had the not so grand and miraculous event as a guest was bumped by a wheelchair at Spaceship Earth, and he waited at the exit to fight.
Stupid.
We need to go into that one.
No.
That's just, come on. People bump. A lot of the fights are either someone. It seems like the biggest fight incidents have been someone getting in someone's way, someone bumping into someone.
the line.
A common one is they're cutting in line because someone went to the bathroom and
Rejoin
they're
your
rejoining
family,
their
yeah.
family.
Which is a pet peeve. I get it. You shouldn't fight someone, but it's annoying.
I mean, in France, can't you get like kicked out for that? In Paris, don't they like?
People do all the other parts, even Japan, where they're so polite, that's still like accepted. That you fight through to rejoin your family. It's just not frowned upon.
January 21st, we had a woman grabbed by the neck and pushed outside the Hollywood Brown Derby restaurant at Disney World.
They were out of rolls.
I will have the Cobb
Where are
salad,
my
damn you.
rolls?
All right, a guest who was already
a good
trespassed from Disney World sneaks back into the Magic Kingdom without tickets, steals cell phones, and more. I'm going to pull this story up because I think this is
No, this is a good one.
a good one.
I also like the one after this. I like the next one too, because it's a weird one.
A man was arrested for stealing a visitor's iPhone in what Disney suspected was connected to a pickpocketing ring after a small group of people snuck into the Magic Kingdom without buying tickets, according to a newly released sheriff's report. Victor Alfonso Diaz was arrested and charged with third-degree grand theft and trespass on November 27th when he was found in the park with a bag containing 3 phones, a SIM card key, 2 large portable chargers, and a silver Faraday bag that blocks cell phone signals, according to the sheriff's report. 2 of the phones were put in airplane mode already. One woman said her iPhone 14 had been stolen from the front of her backpack that day. She was able to get it back, according to the arrest report. Her phone was valued at $1,000. Alfonso Diaz, 33, of Orlando, denied stealing anything when he was confronted. He told law enforcement one phone was his, the rest of his items he just found them at the theme park and happened to have a Faraday bag and SIM card key with him. So,
Wow.
He was not alone when he was arrested, though. He's part of a group.
I found them.
Yeah, I found these cell phones and this Faraday bag and the SIM card key. He was part of a group of people who had caught Disney's attention from past trouble.
Yeah.
Essentially, these people had already been trespassed from Disney for theft in the past. Somehow they snuck in. I don't
know how.
I don't know. None of them had tickets. They showed them walking past the touch points at the turnstiles without a ticket.
Yeah, they just walked through.
I mean, how many people can get away with that at a time without I'm sure
they kind of did, and I think at that point security was looking for them, and then by the time they found them, they're like, "Oh, also you have all these things."
We also had the guy a couple years ago, remember, that climbed the berm.
The berm, yeah, that might have been last year, I think.
Yeah, he's not going to be on here, but that's one way to try to
sure.
sneak into the park, I guess. Climb the berm. We're missing parachuting and catapult, maybe. I don't know. All right, next, January 30th. Here's a great one for Disneyland.
I love this.
A guest brings a sparkling firework into Disneyland for pictures. This is like someone, social media, undeniably, to take that magical picture in front of the castle with like a homemade knockoff Mickey cake and a lit sparkler in it. Like, just the narcissism could not be contained.
Wasn't it like a big red like firecracker, I thought? Am I wrong?
No, it was like a big sparkler.
Oh, I thought it had like I thought it looked like a big red, like it was a sparkler, but it was in like a fake casing, so it looked like a big.
Let me look.
I don't remember. I thought it looked pretty comical. Like it was a comical device, I thought.
I'd actually have to pull up our article on that. I don't have the article up, but yeah, I've seen the picture. It just looked like a giant oversized sparkler.
Yeah,
it could have had a fireworks shape to it. Maybe Billy can edit that into the show and we can find out.
Oh, so it's like a big sparkler, but you're right, it's in like a Mickey cake.
Yeah.
This video's the chaos in the video. It's so good.
Like everybody in the world had to say, this is a terrible idea. This person's like, I don't care. I need the likes.
Not her bestie who was filming it.
Yeah.
But then I love that with the one leg up, short dress, the one leg up, and the pose, and just the camera behind her going, "Please put that out." There's a lady with the firework here.
I hope it was worth it.
Oh my! It was worth it for us.
All right, February 3rd, a guest gets on the Lunar New Year float during the procession at DCA. She hopped on and was like waving to people or blowing kisses to the crowd. I think she just hopped on the float like, I'm going to be part of this.
The incidents have started to de-escalate, I feel like, as the year went on, other than the Small World guy.
Yeah.
We started the year real strong, though. Yeah. Like, these were some, like, things you had never seen before. Because the next one's good, too. Can I read the next one?
Yes, do the next one.
TikTok clout chasers eat Red Bull while on the Incredicoaster and drink Splash Mountain water at Disneyland Resort. Well, they were thirsty after the Bread Bowl.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, they did have to change parks to do that. I remember that she's launching Incredicoaster, just starts munching on a bread bowl. She's like upside down, and there's bread coming out of her mouth, and it's like blowing on the side of her face. And then the guy just drinks Splash Mountain water.
Mr. Incredible's like, cookie. She's like, no, bread.
But people will think you're gross, but they can't ignore me.
People are like, I love that cookie smell in that tunnel, but there was a bread smell on the rest of the ride. How did they do it? God, that splash water, you couldn't. There's no amount of money I would accept to drink
No.
Splash Mountain water
No.
or Pirates or any of those.
I've had to walk around, as you know, in the spring. I got completely drenched head to toe in blue jeans on Splash Mountain at Disneyland in 50-degree weather, head to toe, and that water made my clothes smell. I mean, like I dried out my clothes the best I could back at the hotel, and then packed up and left a day or two later, and that smell. As soon as I unpacked at home, I was like, "Oh, that smell, of that Splash Mountain water, man, that is." All right, February 17th. Now it gets real good. 3 Orange County deputies resigned after having sex at Walt Disney World while on duty. That was at Disney Springs in the parking garages, right?
I think so.
I mean,
and one of them reported it because they were jealous of the other two.
yeah.
Right?
They're like, I don't know, bad ideas all around.
Wild. Speaking of bad ideas.
Bad ideas aren't exclusive to the civilians. Also, the people in uniform can sometimes make stupid decisions.
The next one, February 21st, guest shares photo flashing breasts at Epcot.
Yeah, so this one is kind of funny, but it's also, it turns out this woman is like an anchor on Naked News and like has an OF account.
Yeah.
And this person, probably
What's
the
OF?
Yeah.
I don't know what
It's
that
a
is.
place, it's a
What are you
store that
talking
only
about?
sells fans.
Oh. How do you get an account there? I don't know. All right.
I don't know. But this person is the picture at Epcot is probably the least racy photo on that person's X account. So, but yeah, standing there at the Imagination Pavilion, right near Figment, our favorite guy, and I'm sure he was psychologically damaged by that.
She just wanted to show off her pyramids. They were also uneven.
God, get help. I don't care where you get it. Get you help. Oh, boy. She didn't want people to have to use their imagination. February 21st, a dangerous TikTok trend inspires new warning signage on Guardians of the Galaxy mission Breakout at Disney California Adventure because younger guests were taking off their seatbelt. Talk about stupid.
This is the dumbest thing on
This is the dumbest thing on here.
because this is the one that would absolutely kill you.
Yeah. They're taking off their restraints or sitting on top of them or whatever they're doing on Tower.
You do
of
not
Terror.
want to ride that ride without a seatbelt, I assure you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they did because they thought it was fun and they wanted to show other people how
They're
fun
lucky
it could
to be alive.
be. Yeah, they are.
And they ruined the ride because now they had to add all that extra signage. It takes them longer to check the restraints now because they got to double check.
Yeah.
You made cast members' lives harder. You made things slower for guests. You really ruined it. So thanks.
Here's one I actually don't remember.
I remember that.
A prohibited drone flies over and crashes at Disneyland.
Where it was like they found it in the security's like poking it in the bush. They found it like in the bush when
It's
it fell,
alive!
and they're like hitting it. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's really hard to fly a drone. I happen to live in the no-fly zone at Walt Disney World, and if you have a commercial drone, it won't fly.
Yeah.
Like GPS, whatever, won't let it fly.
Oh wow.
That's what I'm told. Maybe someone just told me because told me that because they knew I would try it.
Yeah.
But yeah, apparently Disneyland, no. And they flew their drone over it, and it was in Frontierland. People noticed it, and then it crashed.
It'd be a lot
in the bushes.
easier there because the outside world is not far away. So in a matter of
far at all.
moments, you could have your drone from off property on property, right? Yeah.
Disneyland may get a drone show one day, but it's not going to be with that one.
This is a good one. March 10th. Disneyland guest drags child on leash across ground in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. The jokes for this one wrote themselves. But this happens all the time, but someone filmed it. And it is ridiculous, people dragging their kids on those leashes when they won't behave. Yeah.
Well, no, I get like I understand the need for a leash. Look,
but the dragging is
no dragging. Come on.
If the kid's not moving, you stand there and scold them, but
you
don't,
pick them up.
Or pick them up. But
yeah,
don't
dragging them
don't
around.
drag the child over concrete.
There are certain things you just don't want to do in a society where everybody has a camera too, right? It's like, I get it. Parents get frustrated with their kids and like, come on.
Yeah.
That might be one thing, but dragging someone and then there's everyone
front of
around you has a
everybody.
camera and access to
Over a
social
long
media.
distance.
Yeah. Yeah, that was not a. It was not like a come here. It was like a dragging you down the hall.
The next one.
Oh God.
One of my favorites.
Okay, so people always want to know where the people are from, and so this is Florida man makes his first entry onto the list for the year.
It took him a couple months.
I mean, now the cops technically some of them were Florida man and Florida woman. We don't always lead with that because them being cop was more important than Florida.
Yeah.
It's important because we kept track kind of like Florida versus New Jersey for these events.
There was
incidents.
a race, yeah.
And people said, I remember like we had one that was a foreign guest. And the context is like maybe where this person was from, this was more acceptable than here. People go, it's not important that it's foreign guests. People got mad. You're like, look, we say New Jersey, we say Florida, we say Texas.
Is Florida man racist against Floridians?
I don't think so.
not.
I don't think so. I mean, we're hated enough. Florida man gets drunk at Disney Springs, warns police, but they better hope he is never their nurse, and then his family abandons him. Now, guess where this took place?
Have to read this one.
I have to pull this one up because this is important because guess where it takes place, Tom? Guess.
Disney Springs.
Yes. Where at Disney
it.
Springs?
Oh, T-Rex.
T-Rex
We
Cafe.
had a string of T-Rex Cafe incidents. That's right.
T-Rex is where you go to get turned.
Is that wasn't this year the lady who left her
No,
kid?
that was also
that was
at
the year,
T-Rex,
that was only
though.
a couple months before, but that was
Yeah.
last year.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
had 3 big incidents at T-Rex in a very short amount of time.
Right. A Florida man who said he was a registered nurse threatened Orange County Sheriff's deputies after he was arrested following a drunken scene at Disney Springs. Edward Stevenson, 30 of Brandon, that's kind of a bedroom community in the Tampa area, pleaded not guilty in March to trespass, according to Orange Circuit Court records. It took 3 deputies to place his arms behind his back and secure him, according to the report. Once secured, he continued to tell deputies he was going to sue them. Mr. Stevenson also advised he was a registered nurse and told deputies we better hope he is never our nurse in an emergency room. The incident occurred on January 15th. The sheriff's office released the public document 2 months later. Stevenson attracted law enforcement's attention because he was being belligerent and cursing at and in front of children. He was reported making inappropriate comments to juveniles at Once Upon a Toy and visited several stores at Disney Springs. Disney security asked Stevenson to leave, but then he turned his anger on the security employees, swearing at them and making derogatory comments. Disney wanted him trespassed. Did it say T-Rex here, or did I make that up?
This one may not be T-Rex.
Maybe it wasn't. I just picture that's where people get angry. His brother tried to help calm him down, but Stevenson clenched his fists and appeared ready to fight him, so the brother left him alone. Then he was escorted to the Lime Garage, because, of course, the Lime Garage, right?
Yeah.
That's the one you hate. No, you like the Lime.
No, I'm orange.
You're team orange, yeah. I'm indifferent. I'm the Switzerland of the garages. Anyway, a family member was supposed to pick him up in a Lime Garage, but it was later determined that Mr. Stevenson had upset his family so much with his actions, they refused to come pick him up. Now that meant he had to take an Uber to get off Disney property. Law enforcement led him to the pickup area, and he recorded them on his phone. While doing so, he continued to walk and not change direction when small children and families were walking, the arrest report said. He would sway into their path and then tell them to get out of his way while waving his trespass warning in their faces. He was told multiple times to keep walking towards the exit and would stop and record and curse at deputies. He refused to call an Uber and was still acting aggressively with families and young children around him. He got so close to law enforcement, he actually spat in one deputy's face. As they tried to put him into handcuffs, he braced his arms. He made the comments that he was an RN before he was taken to the Orange County Jail. So take Uber next time. That's easy. That's easier. That was a good story, kids.
This is sad.
I'm sorry to the people at the T-Rex Cafe for
that one. There
assuming
are
that
other
he
ones,
was there.
though. Yeah. April 14th, child whipped by parent with dog leash at Hollywood Studios. That one's sad.
This is a sad one, and a security person spotted the guy that it was with the kid had a leash, right? And basically the defense of the parent was like, oh, he has a habit of like twirling the end of this leash, and he might have hit the kid. But they took him to in for photographs of his injuries. Yeah. So I don't know what happened with that one. That one's awful.
This next one is fantastic.
Oh, God.
April 16th, irate guest bites off chunk of woman's middle finger over fireworks spot at Epcot.
this has to be after. It says it's during the show. It has to be after she saw Harmonious, and she was just enraged. Right? You blocked my view of the beautiful lagoon all day for this.
The song started in English, and now it's not.
There was kind of a big brawl, and when the dust settled, one of the women is like, "Hey, I seem to be missing part of my finger."
Harmonious was so good that she didn't even notice. She was so mad about Harmonious.
9:45 p.m. as Harmonious was being performed.
When she went to flip off Harmonious at the end, she then noticed a chunk of her middle finger was missing. Oh. Go ahead.
I will go into this, but I don't know if what kind of time we have.
I think you should.
Okay.
This one's
At
wild.
9:45 p.m. that night, as Harmonious was being performed, a physical altercation broke out between a California woman's family and a 26-year-old woman named Emily from Pennsylvania. Hungry Emily from Pennsylvania. Emily appeared to be blocking them during the show and then elbowed someone in a group. When Emily was confronted, Emily proceeded to get irate, lunged at one of them, and scratched the unidentified person in the face. At one point, the unnamed California woman attempted to separate her relatives away from Emily. As she pushed Emily away from her and her family, Emily bit her middle finger and proceeded to kick, yell, and scream at her and her family. This report is heavily redacted, by the way. Emily tried to leave the scene, but the family notified a Disney employee and followed her. The California woman later noticed she was bleeding, and the sheriff's deputy observed a chunk of the meaty portion of her middle finger was missing.
What is the meaty portion?
I don't know.
Is it the
I'd have to
front?
ask a connoisseur. I assume the
front?
tip is like probably
This
the
is
best.
the meaty,
the best
right?
meat is probably on the front,
Oh,
right?
God.
I did cut my thumb one time when I was a kid at Cub Scout camp with a pocket knife that like went through a knot, and yeah, there was a meaty portion of my thumb hanging off there. And then that's how they took away they gave you a little thing in Cub Scouts or Boy Scouts called the totem chip. It's like a business card that allows you to carry a knife. And every time they catch you doing something unsafe with the knife, they knock a corner off it. And when you knock the last corner off your totem chip, no more knife.
Oh.
And I think they might have taken a couple corners off of my totem chip after that. Anyway, even in the heavily redacted report, it's clear the fight was dramatic. Emily tried to attack someone. One person pulled Emily to the ground. Emily kicked somebody between the legs and flipped that person over. Some of the people involved in the fight, Emily included, had scratch marks on them. When questioned by law enforcement, Emily denied doing anything wrong. Emily stated she was beat up by multiple people. She stated that she was the one that was beat up and did not know why she was the one in handcuffs. They noted Emily was being restrained because she was making comments about hurting herself in her uncontrollable manner. Emily, who had a history of mental health issues, later asked for mental health help. The sheriff's report said, ultimately, she was Baker acted, which is someone who didn't ask for medical help, but someone determines they need medical or mental health help. She was charged with aggravated battery and simple battery. It did not have any. The attorney's office said it didn't have any public documents to release at this time.
Good grief.
That's wild. I've seen some wild stuff. I haven't seen someone's meaty portion of their middle finger get bitten.
Speaking of meaty, our next story. April 22nd, guests cool off in the France Pavilion fountain at Epcot. Damn Canadians.
Yeah, so there's all these people in matching purple shirts, which is a terrible idea, by the way. Like, if you're going to be an idiot in something nondescript.
Yeah.
Not a matching purple
They
shirt.
could find all of you.
Because these people decided not only to like dip their feet in the fountain, but two of them were just like full on kick back and they're leaning on the
The guys.
on the edge, fully in the fountain. Someone else is standing in it. They got their beers and drinks or whatever on the ledge.
Yeah.
Wearing very bright shirts. And as it turns out, the way I remember this,
You know why their shirts matched.
because they were parents of a dance team from Canada who came down to compete in the World Championships.
Yeah.
Because everyone knows that if you're on a dance team, the best ones in the world, the best dancers in the world, they compete at Walt Disney World. I've seen the jackets.
Wow.
I mean, 27 teams a year are national champions, I think.
Yeah.
But the sad part is that because of the behavior of these adults, the kids who probably weren't even there,
They weren't.
or certainly weren't in that group with the group, they were disqualified and sent home. So imagine you go to all these dance lessons that you're probably forced to by your parents in the first place. You work so hard and you go to Disney World to compete, and then you aren't even allowed to compete because your parents are morons. That's a sad one. It's funny, though. I mean, when you just walk around the corner and you see that happening there.
Yeah. I don't know if we should talk about the next one.
Okay, you can skip it.
That's uncomfortable.
Don't skip this one, though. This is one you got to read.
April. This is another one of my...
Okay, if you have kids, leave the room.
Yeah, this may not be the most family-friendly episode we've done. April 24th. I wrote this title. I apologize. New Jersey man
there he
caught
is.
Smoking, watching porn, and touching himself on Remy's Ratatouille adventure in Epcot. You have to read it.
So, okay, a New Jersey man was caught smoking, watching pornography, and masturbating, all while riding Remy's Ratatouille adventure at Epcot last month. Robert Fitzpatrick, 36, was arrested and has been charged with a misdemeanor charge of exposing his organs, according to Orange Circuit court records. He turned out to already be a wanted man. There were warrants out for Fitzpatrick's arrest for sex crimes in both California and New Jersey, according to Orange County Sheriff's arrest report. Further details on his out-of-state charges were not included in this report. Disney cast members were first leery of Fitzpatrick when he wanted to sit alone in a rat, or the ride cart, on March 29th, according to the arrest report. Generally, guests share the why do they call it a cart? It's a ride vehicle. Okay. Either way, generally guests share the cart with other people, and it was suspicious that he wanted his own one. Now, I've heard many people say, oh, Tom Corless demands his own ride vehicle, which is, of course, not true, but funny, nonetheless.
So we did a poster for remember the person mover? And it says person mover, and it's Tom Corless wants to ride alone, the person mover.
All right, several cast members monitoring the attraction in a surveillance room saw him smoke. He just lit up a dart in the middle of Remy's
Ratatouille France Pavilion. It's thematic.
And touch himself. Twice, they stopped the attraction and made a loudspeaker announcement that smoking was not permitted.
We're not even going to talk about the other thing, but...
No, we'll get there.
Can you at least stop smoking?
The ride continued on, and Fitzpatrick began watching pornography on his cell phone and then put his hand in his pants. He then no longer was inside of his pants and whipped it out and continued going inside the cart ride. And then I don't even want to read the next passage. I'll just rephrase it. One cast member said that he finished before the ride was finished.
It's not a long ride.
Yeah, causing them, I'm sure, to have to clean the ride vehicle. Now, a sheriff's deputy was also back at Remy's Ratatouille adventure on March 30th, where Disney managers reported Sherwin Shayagan was constantly causing issues inside the park. He threw items on the ground when they escorted him at Epcot. But yeah, Remy's Ratatouille adventure had been quite an adventure.
That was the ultimate adventure.
I mean, that's a full night out on a town. I mean, all in a 4-minute long ride.
What a character, Jesus.
This one's kind of a nothing burger. Florida woman was trespassed from Disney World for pushing several elderly guests while in line for Seven Dwarfs Mine Train at Magic Kingdom. I think that resulted in nothing. A male guest was trespassed for slapping a female cast member's backside, then arrested for sneaking back in his hotel room. So this was at Three Bridges.
I believe so.
Yeah, so he was I think it's from like Montana or North Dakota or something like that. And so he's at Three Bridges, got drunk, swatted a cast member on the backside. Yeah. They came, trespassed him, got him, wrote all the paperwork up, gave it to him. And then he snuck back into the hotel room because his family was there later that night. There, and then he got double trespassed.
They came or like,
you know what comes next is the triple dog trespass.
God.
Oh, God.
He's not even allowed in the country now. He can't be within. God.
All right, so there was a lot of people remember this, May 15th.
Yeah.
Bloody fist fight breaks out at Magic Kingdom right in front of the train station, right out front where people are taking photos. And that was, I think, whose turn is it to get their photo taken?
Yeah.
And it was very bloody.
It was gross.
Very bloody. I don't know that it was particularly violent so much as one guy just got hit right in the sweet spot and he was a little leaky.
Oh, yeah.
He was a bleeder. Remember, do you ever watch In Living Color?
Yeah.
They had like 3 champs and a baby. So it's like 3 men and a baby, but it's like boxing, like Mike Tyson and Muhammad Ali and, I don't know, Sugar Ray Leonard or something. And the one kid comes over to take their daughter out and they're like, oh, it's Jerry Cooney Jr. You know, hey, champ, hey, pal, how's it going? He just pops on his shoulder and Jim Carrey just starts bleeding because Jerry Cooney was this boxer who bled easily.
Yeah.
Yes. It's very funny. All right. Guest reportedly gets foot jammed in between the boat and unload platform, leading to emergency hole being cut in Navi River Journey at Disney's Animal
Yeah, and the platform, they had to cut a hole and then replace it.
Yeah, that's not guest behavior. That is just an incident that got our
They
attention.
put their foot out a little early.
Yeah. Okay.
This is stupid.
May 29th, cast member and California woman battle over seating aboard the People Mover.
Yeah.
Basically, the woman from California, as I remember it, wanted to sit with her family, but the ride vehicle was already full. And the cast member did where they gesture to the next available vehicle and tell you to go there. And that lady swatted her arm out of the way. And it turned into a he said, she said. And I don't think anything ever happened. Here's one that was captured on video.
Yeah.
Guest jumps out of the ride vehicle during Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. That was June 8th.
So the backstory to this apparently was that she really had to go to the restroom and they had been there for a while. So I don't know. You're still not supposed to get out, but she claimed she couldn't wait any longer. And so you can't really, it's a rough situation. I don't know who's really in the wrong there. I wouldn't do it, but you've been there for that long and the option is I'm either going to the bathroom on myself in front of people or I'm taking my chances. I don't know.
That is the only area of that ride that you could really get out because it's right there before the launch.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of a carpeted room.
Well, there'd be stairs and stuff in other places.
Yeah, I mean, don't ever get out of the ride vehicle. But also, she was there they were there for, I don't know, half hour or something like that is what the story turned out to be. Another one is a guest jumping off the Grand Fiesta Tour at Epcot. It gets violent with cast members and is banned from Walt Disney World. That's June 18th. I suspect this was at the end. And if you've ever been on the weird thing about Grand Fiesta Tour is that the queue to get off the ride is always longer than the queue to get on the ride. Yeah. Those boats can get backed up there at the end.
Small
and
World
I think they were there, and people were screaming at her to sit down.
They've had to add more and more signage, right? So originally there's none. Then they put the little flags on they put the ropes up at the end, right? They did that. Then they put the signs on the ropes. Then they put the signs on the boxes. Then they painted the walls with the signs.
Then they put nails on the floor.
Yeah. There's so much stuff there. They've had to add so many things over the years because people just get out. People think they're done and they get out.
Here's another one. We don't have to read the whole story, but this is a positive one.
Yeah.
This is a Walt Disney World cast member and service dog named Pluto saved a guest having a medical emergency at Disney's Hollywood Studios.
And his name was Pluto.
Yeah, his name was Pluto. So there are service dogs that are trained to deal with these medical things. I think I think service dogs can maybe monitor your blood sugar. They can tell if people with certain heart conditions, they can help them. And Pluto helped the guest who was having an issue with their heart.
That's great.
So good for Pluto. I love to have something to brighten the mood a little bit. As funny as some of these are, some of them are pretty sad.
The next one's pretty funny.
You want to do this one?
Woman hides at Big Thunder Mountain to avoid arrest after sneaking into Disneyland. So there's a manhunt happening on Big Thunder Trail for a while. I think she went in the fence. She tried to hide in the cacti.
She just hopped through the turnstile or tap stiles or whatever too.
And they chased her all the way into the park, and then she tried to hide in the Big Thunder area.
I like to imagine that she's just on all fours with a stick of dynamite in her mouth, like one of the dynamite goats. Not me. I'm just a goat.
Wow,
that's a good one.
This is a weird.
This is a
great one, but it's weird.
It's not really a guest incident, but it was noteworthy.
Disney accidentally shares video of construction workers smoking during Tiana's Foods water tower installation. There was some argument as to if it was a cigarette. Some people
it was a cigarette.
At first, some of us were arguing, like, I think it might be like a drill bit or something. And then my favorite moment in that was Jake, our production manager, who used to, he's done great. How long now?
Over 6 months. He quit smoking
he quit smoking ages ago now. But Jake comes into the channel and just goes, "No, that's a dart."
That's a dart. He's absolutely smoking.
No one was going to argue with Jake at that point. They're like, all right, then it is.
So Disney with this image, it's great. And then I don't know who did WDI put this video out on TikTok or wherever, and it's like,
Disney Parks
look at the video of us putting the water tower on Tiana's Bayou Adventure overnight to surprise guests, kind of thing. And you see the guy, and he's just like, they're working with the thing, and he's got a heater hanging out of his mouth.
They're third party, right? Like they use a lot of third party contractors for this stuff.
Still, I would be surprised as someone who has project managed contractors who work in the parks at night.
Yeah.
You definitely cannot smoke. So he might have been back behind there or whatever. You definitely cannot smoke.
It's probably a little different with construction crews. They probably are like, I'm not going to deal with this.
Yeah. Okay, here's the foreign guest. He leaves child unattended in a stroller, then reportedly spits on a Disney cast member who moved the child into a safe spot. This all happened at Dinoland USA. So the story essentially that we're told is a cast member sees a child sitting in a stroller unattended outside, I think outside Restaurantosaurus or something. Moves the child inside into air conditioning. And then the father shows back up looking for the kid, doesn't see them, and goes crazy, jumping up and down, screaming, yelling, spits in the cast member's face, all this stuff. Now, they're saying basically that what they think happened is the dad and some other people went inside to eat. He thinks mom is with the kids, but mom and some other kids went on like Dinosaur. So then the one kid's just sitting out there in the stroller. Now, the lawyer of this guy, the way I remember it, said, oh, he only walked away because he's on the phone with the mom or FaceTiming with the mom to try to show her where they are and get back. But either way, allegedly spit in a cast member's face.
And
that's about it. The cast members took a brunt of a lot of crap this year. Like
in other countries, it's not strange to leave your children or your belongings somewhere if you think they're safe. It's not weird. What'll blow your mind? You go to Hong Kong or you go to Tokyo. Counter service restaurants, people just throw their bags at the table and they leave. They walk away and they go order their food, and they're miles. Some places you are like almost a mile from your bag. People don't, they just leave it.
I've seen like videos and pictures of there are countries. I think maybe Russia and some places where it gets very cold, of parents leave their children outside in a stroller in the cold.
Yeah.
And it's sort of a tradition, just kind of conditioning kids to go. They're not naked, right? They're wrapped up and in warm clothing in a stroller, and just kind of like put them out in the cold air. It'll do them some good. Fight breaks out in Tomorrowland at Magic Kingdom. We saw that one. The funny part of that was the one guy's wearing one of those, like probably the most common Disney shirt is those red ones that say like Grandpa, Dad over the mouse ears or whatever. He's wearing one of those shirts. He's fighting with another guy. A couple blows are exchanged, and then there's just a lot of foul language right by the Speedway. You smell those fumes, you go a little crazy maybe.
This is one of my favorites. July 14th, guest with baby wades into Pirates of the Caribbean water instead of waiting for evacuation at Disneyland. So these people got stuck for a while, and they decided, nah. And the guy just goes waist deep into the water, takes the baby from the wife, and just starts. He has no idea where he's going.
He's just walking back and forth talking to people.
He just starts going through, and the cast member's like, "Sir, please get back in the boat." He's like, "Nah," and he just keeps wading through.
The way I remember, wasn't this kind of in the cave scene, like after the first couple drops?
This was where the boat, the fight between the fort and the ship.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the thing about this that I'll say is, when you have people get out of the boat like Grand Fiesta Tour and they step onto dry land, there's a big difference between that. You shouldn't do it. It's wrong.
It's still
but
unsafe,
you get in the water because sometimes the water has effects and electrical systems running in it and lights in it sometimes, mechanical stuff. Yeah. Look, there was this is a tragic story. Orange Lake is a resort down 192 a ways from here. And I remember several years ago, they had a putt-putt course, and a little girl hit her ball and it went into some water there, and she went in to grab it, and because there was underwater lighting that had a short in it down there, she was electrocuted and killed. Yeah. I mean, it is very dangerous to get into the water of something that has some kind of attraction that's operational like that, right? And that's a bad one. Yeah. That's one of those that I have trouble getting behind. I can kind of sympathize with the Mission Breakout or the Cosmic Rewind. Sorry.
And what's funny is just a couple of days later, August 2nd, you had it happen at It's a Small World.
Yeah. So. July 17th. Little Yachty regrets spending $100,000 on his Walt Disney World date.
Same.
I just want to know, like, the one piece of information that's missing from that story, because whoever was on that podcast didn't know the questions to ask, was did he stay at the yacht club? Was he at the Little Yachty Yacht Club? I want to know. And
there were a lot of details I would have asked for that I still want to know,
I don't know a lot about Little Yachty.
Little Beachy, you know.
Little Beachy. I don't know a lot about Little Yachty. I know he played Late Night in the Fog at KU several years ago, and then there was a mass shooting downtown that night. I don't think he was involved. I'm not saying that. But that's why the name sticks out. Because people are like, maybe we shouldn't book Little Yachty next year. All right. July 17th. Guests try to exit Big Thunder Mountain at Disneyland Paris by walking on the track while a train is coming.
Or as it's also known at Disneyland Paris, Tuesday.
Walking on the track.
Man, if you do not see someone climb something or go somewhere they're not supposed to in a day at Disneyland Paris, you have gone on an off day.
All right, August 2nd, we get to guests jump out of It's a Small World boats and wade in the water during a stoppage. Same kind of stupidity. Some of these are lawsuits. August 4th, lawsuit filed after man falls in Haunted Mansion.
Yeah.
He was just getting on the ride vehicle.
The monorail door thing, did the lady get stuck in
did the lady get stuck in the monorail doors? I believe that it's possible, but I don't believe that 5 people couldn't free her. Because those doors aren't that strong.
Are real flimsy.
Yeah.
We had, for years we were watching them fall off. I'm supposed to believe this lady was trapped in them.
If you told me like she leaned against them and fell out, I would believe that.
But like the fact that she couldn't get free from them, all right, lady.
Yeah. Those don't seem to be the most firm.
Also, cast members did not help. If it was just a door problem, I can't see cast members just standing there being like, that didn't happen. There's no way.
Here's one I want to talk about for a minute. College program cast member was fired after viral TikTok captures guest altercation at Magic Kingdom. Yeah. And I've talked about this before of rules. Like, I just don't think it's cool to shove a camera in a cast member's face, especially when it appeared that these people were kind of goading her and antagonizing her and trying to act entitled and trying to boss her around. And I don't think it's fair. Like, I don't have the full context of what happened. I have the context of what we were shown. And what we were shown, to me, these people put this video like, ha, look at this mean cast member. And immediately the social media backlash was not what they expected at all. They're like, everyone's like, what's wrong with you people? You guys are jerks. Yeah. You guys are terrible people picking on this woman. She lost her job. Yeah. And I should have checked today. I'm curious. I'm going to check her TikTok, see what she's doing, see if maybe she got hired back because there was a lot of people saying, no,
it was not.
Disney should bring her back.
Harassing her and to the point at which she snapped a little bit, but who wouldn't, right? Like that's uncalled for.
That was August 21st, by the way.
Yeah.
August 25th, female cast member escapes attempted kidnapping at Epcot parking lot.
Yeah, that was a scary one. There's not a whole lot to talk about there.
No, some lecherous guy said, come on, princess, get into my carriage or something like that.
Gross.
Oh boy, September 18th.
Here it is, the moment of the year.
Is this number one?
For me, I think so. Real bear in a tree reportedly causes Adventureland, Frontierland, and Liberty Square to fail to open with the park. There was just a real bear in the park.
Somehow got in, climbed the fence, walked over the berm. Bear went over the mountain. I don't know if it's Splash or Big Thunder or Space.
The funny thing is, like, it's a park full of attractions with bears, right? There are country bears, Brer Bear, Winnie the Pooh. Like, the jokes wrote themselves. It was. These are the fun moments, right, where there's just nonsense, just a moment of nonsense and some anarchy, but all in good fun. No one gets hurt, and it's all
Yeah, the bear, they basically shot the bear with a tranquilizer dart.
Yeah.
It falls out of the tree unharmed, allegedly. And then they relocated the bear to the Ocala National Forest, probably without regard as to whether or not it had family members nearby that were going to miss it. Could have had some cubs somewhere. Maybe they. I've always thought, though, I think I've said this before on this show. Like, can you imagine? So someone saw the bear. An observant cast member's like, before we open, there's a bear in the tree. Somebody saw that. Can you imagine if the bear had been out in like Injun Joe Caves out there on Tom Sawyer Island?
Just goes in,
the cave,
la.
they walk into this dark cave and come face to face
So
with a
real.
bear.
That people would think it's fake, right? No one would think. They're like, oh, wow.
Look at these animatronics.
There's a guy in a bear suit.
Tom would be going crazy.
Mauled in the cave. Then the story's very different. We're not laughing about it at that point.
No.
But, yeah.
I'm glad that did not happen. But now I'm a little worried whenever I walk my little dog. I'm always worried about the gator in my neighborhood, but now a bear. Maybe there's bears right there in the woods that are
These
right there by my house.
These are the gators in your neighborhood. In your neighborhood.
Okay, October 1st, woman suing Disney after falling off a 3-foot drop while being evacuated from test track.
She took a wrong step.
Yeah. October 16th.
This is a great one.
This is a great headline. I'm proud of Katie because
this
Katie
was
came up with it.
right?
Katie,
That's
our
right.
editor, was like, usually is pretty straight down the middle, decided to make a humorous headline.
We're
for
the
this
idiots who usually write like the funny
one.
nonsense.
I wrote the journey into inebriation one time. Yeah,
but no, she wrote this one. You want?
No, you do.
Guests wail on each other when fight breaks out in front of Storybook Land canal boats at Disneyland. So they're fighting in front of the giant Monstro the whale. Guests wail on each other. It's good.
What an appropriate venue.
It's great.
It's great. I don't know. That's a pretty cramped area to fight, though. I mean, there's a lot of traffic.
Those paths
there.
are not wide. No.
No. In fact, the big people talk about that choke point in Fantasyland at Walt Disney
It was
World
a
at the Magic
different kind
Kingdom.
of choke point that day.
But in Magic Kingdom, there's like that area between the kind of between Peter Pan's flight and It's a Small World, that narrow area. There's people complain about. There's 50 of those at Disneyland,
and way more narrow.
Way more narrow.
And all of them are in that Fantasyland.
Yeah, all of it, like walking from Alice in Wonderland to like Mr. Toad's Wild Ride is maybe 300 feet, and it's probably like a 5-minute walk just because of traffic. That's a heck of a place to fight. All right. Another clever headline. Was this yours?
Throw down by the riverside. Because they used to sing down by the riverside at Riverside Mill, Drunk guest throws resort furniture at police and wakes up guests after claiming Disney cast members battered her. This one's pretty straightforward. It's dumb. Like, she was being loud. They came to, like, throw her out. She said the cast members battered her. She threw furniture at the police in their direction.
Yeah. That was the 27th. On October 29th, Walt Disney World guests leave Avatar banshees, wallets, and bundles of cash in their strollers, become victims in large string of thefts at Epcot and Disney's Animal Kingdom.
Yeah, there was a series of stroller thefts because people just leave stuff in their strollers.
And we were unable to really prove these are necessarily connected.
But the sheriff thought
But there are, I will say, like, there are stores closing. They're like Walmart is closing in places and stuff because organized theft rings are a big deal now, right? Because it's so easy to snatch stuff and sell it online anonymously that like organized theft rings are a real thing.
I have a New York related story of something like that.
I'll bet you do. I was so one time in the Bronx.
No, very recent.
No.
The Harlem Target store is closed a couple months ago because the theft was so bad, and they opened a new one more downtown, another part of Manhattan. But they specifically closed the Harlem location because the theft was that bad. They couldn't stop it.
Yeah, theft is a real problem in retail right now. And I think it's Best Buy. I read an article and they're like, oh, Best Buy has it figured out. Basically, there's a graph. The more people you staff, the less theft you have.
Yeah.
So when you try to get by on smaller, crews of employees and stuff like that, your theft goes up. It makes sense.
I went to a Target yesterday where the underwears are in a sealed case, a glass case for undergarments.
Like razor blades, man.
but like just like men's boxer briefs.
Do you ever notice you go into a store and like you go to a place like I'll say Best Buy or Lowe's or Home Depot, one of these big box stores, and there's always people asking you 100 times if you need help.
Yeah.
And you don't when you don't. And then when you do, you can stand there and do jumping jacks and try to flag someone down and you can never find them.
Yeah.
It never fails. I'm going to yell at this cloud next. All right. November 13th. Do you want to see my bra?
No thanks, Eric.
Irate guest waves bra around at Disney World and strikes a security cast member. She wasn't happy because she got pulled aside for a secondary check at security.
That happens a lot.
So,
well, this one's super famous. November 27th, guest strips and streaks through the water of It's a Small World at Disneyland. You've undoubtedly seen this story. This was major news. This guy was, something was a little off, or he was on something. We don't know still, but nonetheless, he got out of the boat and went and just walked around.
He said Farvel to his clothing.
He said, on young guy, and and then the police said, Auf Wiedersehen, and took him away. This it was the picture of him like naked under the clock tower is priceless. Like that's just some.
I mean, he spent a good deal of time running around the attraction, potentially damaging some of the figures, sitting on that like fake reflecting pool in front of the Taj Mahal.
He just sat. Well, they told him, sir, he just sat there like in Indian stuff. Or what do you call it? I'm sorry, not to. I know it's
crisscross
offensive.
applesauce.
Crisscross applesauce.
Cross-legged. Yeah. That was when he was still wearing underwear at that point.
He was.
It wasn't until later. Wasn't until later that when he got to the Big Ben scene. Sorry.
You know.
No, but in all seriousness, I have to assume this is someone that was in the middle of mental health crisis,
or was on something.
Yeah,
right?
or just doing drugs.
Yeah, one of the two. He looks out of it either way, right? He didn't look like he was fully aware of what he was doing. So, it's funny because it's weird, but it's also at the same time it's sad, right? It was a weird situation.
Look, going to Disney does all sorts of things to people. I'm serious.
Look at me.
No, but not an everyday like pass holder who lives nearby, but people that are there, the stress of a vacation, trying to get the most out of it, and
for sure.
Or they've never been someplace, or perhaps they're not used to being around that many people, especially if they've been shut in for a while. They're not used to this sort of being cramped and crowded, and now you're stuck on a boat and you don't know when you're going to get off.
The fights and people jumping out of rides and stuff like that's definitely related to that.
Yeah, crime is a totally separate, your petty crime and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
We had, unfortunately, it was technically 2022, was the guy who was a fraudster who had skipped bail, and the cop was here at Disney on vacation and recognized him. That's the best crime story.
1 in a million.
What are the odds that a cop from, I think he's from New York or something, was like, oh, I recognize that guy. I mean, it didn't help the guy. I think the guy had distinctive tattoos on his face or neck or something like that.
Yeah. Like the Florida Joker.
Yeah. But I mean, hey, that's why you keep yourself anonymous. Don't wear bright purple shirts. Don't get like highly memorable tattoos in an area that you can't cover. Yeah. Or a cop might be waiting for you at a bus stop at Disney's Animal Kingdom.
Yeah.
You never know. I guess we're not going to touch on the last one. It's the child.
You talked about it on news today, the Zootopia incident. That one's pretty sad.
Yeah, child. Their ears came off on the ride at Zootopia. What's it called? Hot Pursuit.
Yeah.
And they got out to get them. And I can see a kid who really look. As a kid, we went to Disneyland. We drove there from Lawrence, Kansas to Disneyland.
Yeah.
And we drove back, and like the air conditioner went out when we were in like the desert, the area where they filmed Lawrence of Arabia and stuff. Like all these horrible things on this trip. We get all the way to Kansas City, half hour from home, and my brother, we have the windows open because the air conditioner is broken in the car, and it's the 70s. And my brother, his ears fly off his head and out the window. And yeah, my dad pulled that car over on a busy interstate, and ran out there in the middle of the road to get those mouse ears. People do stuff like that, but you're on an attraction, and the thing about these trackless vehicles is they're really cool, and I don't look at them as something that's dangerous, but they can change direction very quickly without warning. A roller coaster, you know where it's going to go. A trackless ride, you're a little kid, you don't know.
They can stop real easy, though. So what bewildered me about this, I know I wasn't here, but you talked about it. They have a pretty spotless track record of safety. Track record.
Mm-hmm.
The trackless rides have a pretty spotless track record as far as safety is concerned. Everyone else getting spam calls every 5 minutes this month. It's been nuts.
Spam call month.
But the track record on these is so clean.
Yeah,
because they're like old dark rides. The moment something hits that floor, it should trigger an automatic e-stop. That should be it. So I don't know what happened.
Tell them it's a prisoner transport, and then
But I don't know who. Like I don't know how it's possible that it didn't trigger an e-stop and the vehicle was able to go that far and actually get on top of someone.
Someone made a comment on one of our videos or articles that I don't know that this is true. This is just what one of the comments said, and is a possible explanation. People in Shanghai have been throwing stuff out of the ride vehicle. Junk and whatever. You know, they're trash. I don't know. And it was triggering so many e-stops that somebody manually overrode the system.
Yeah,
I don't know that that's true.
Having been there, I would say that's highly possible.
Yeah.
That's definitely a thing I could see that the guests they're doing.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know.
I don't know. It's sad. And the ride vehicle ended up on top of the person. So
they reopened not long after, but you know. The other scary, sad thing is like how posts kept going up about it on social media and then vanishing. But that's a whole. Go watch our Communist China episode of the podcast for more on that.
Oh boy.
Oops.
Well, we hope you're having a great new year. Another way to have a great new year would be to join the WWNT Interglobe Society, the WIGS. You can go to patreon.com/WDWNT to find out more. You can get discounted show and event tickets, early access to exclusive events. Honestly, this show, normally the WIGS get early access and get to watch us live when we film it several days ahead of time. Unfortunately, we can't do that because Jake is out of town and nobody here knows how to do anything except what we could do kind of over the phone with Jake and press the buttons, I guess. So thank you, Jason, for running the controls. He's doing it better than I possibly ever could. But
I don't know how you do it and host the show. That would be really hard.
Oh, I've done it before. I had to use. Remember, we used to have that like Wii nunchuck for controlling the teleprompter.
Yeah, nice.
I think it was the old studio. I did that. I went and I hit record
before Jake.
And I went in and I hit record.
Yeah.
And then I checked the lighting and the sound. I hit record, ran and sat down in a seat, and then used that little thing to do the teleprompter. It wasn't any fun.
I remember those days. Yeah.
Yeah, those are the days, right?
I used to do it all myself, and when it was all my second bedroom, I had to go over to the corner and you click record, and you go sit, and you make sure it looks all right, and quite the process. Yeah.
Not fun.
Nope.
It's good to have friends help you.
It is. They also get paychecks, so I'm sure they like that.
People get paid around here now?
Oh, no, I forgot. Damn it, now Eric knows.
Wait, I'm the guy that runs payroll. Uh-oh, I've only got 24 minutes to get payroll in.
Oh, no.
All right, but anyway, thanks for joining. We would like to ask you to like and subscribe. We'd love to get more subscribers on the channel and grow a little bit. If this kind of content you like, or, some of you are just listening on a podcast feed, you can watch us on YouTube as well. Yep. If you're watching on YouTube, you can also get us on your favorite podcast platforms. That's all out there. But until next week, thanks very much for watching. We'll see you next time.
See you real soon.